In the last few weeks we've discovered how the internet works, dug up the network of undersea cables, and we have entered the vast buildings that store the internet. But in episode 4 we're going to be taking a look at the future. Welcome to the future of the internet. The first part of the episode will be an extension of connecting the world. Although the majority of internet traffic is passed using intercontinental cables that are buried underground, there is a proportion of traffic that uses other means. Cables are great for large populations where there's a concentrated amount of people in a small space, like cities, but many towns and even countries don't have access to high-speed internet. For years, satellites have been too slow to use for a form of connection, but recently there's a new era of satellites that are capable of reaching 15 megabits per second. They're great because you can connect to them from anywhere in the world with the right piece of kit, of course. Unfortunately, there are a few downsides, the first one being latency. There can be a 1-second delay when surfing the web because the signal has to travel 44 miles to get into space and back, so not ideal for video calls. But the biggest factor is bad weather because signals can be completely lost in heavy rain or even snow. But by far the coolest way of connecting to the web, which should definitely be part of our future, is thanks to Google. Google is testing high altitude balloons that orbit the Earth at around 20 kilometers, about 12 miles above us in the stratosphere. This is higher than cruising altitude of planes and even higher than most of the weather. Google is calling its project Project Loon, and it's aiming to provide the internet for even the furthest reaches of the globe. This is thanks to the connect radius of around 40 kilometers away on the ground, and speeds are expected to hit 4G in the future. Currently, the balloons can stay in the air for around 75 days, but Google is extending that to around 100, and there are over 100 balloons in the air right now, with Google also planning to quadruple that number as testing continues. The balloons move around by using the many layers of wind in the air. The wind has different speeds and directions, so whenever a balloon needs to slow down or change direction, it can descend or ascend into the right layer of wind. The technology is in its early stage and it might not even become reality, but if it does, it most certainly is the future of the internet. When researching for the episode, I noticed a recurring term, the Internet of Things. What is the Internet of Things? Well, the easiest definition is things that are connected to the internet, but what things, I hear you ask? Well, anything actually. Imagine this, you get home from work and immediately your house recognises you've entered. So it taps into a cloud profile of yourself, which has details of your favourite music, perfect temperature and lighting for your mood. If you've had a long day at work, your room knows because it has checked your calendar, and it checks the sensors on your body that can detect stress. So instead of turning on your favourite rock music, the room decides that more relaxing music is more appropriate. Sensors outside, as well as sensors in your clothing, understand that earlier it was snowing, so the thermostat in the house decides to crank up the heat for you. The Internet of Things could be so sophisticated that it may know what you want before you've even decided. When you walk to the fridge, it could tell you what's inside, but it could also tell you what you can make with the food inside your fridge. It might be able to tell you what the best meal for you is based on your mood, or your activity level, or your diet. The Internet of Things can connect to everything, together creating a smart environment in which devices can help decide things for you. This is truly mind-blowing, and with the introduction of IPv6 we now have the capacity for so many connected devices. We have a vast network which will have 3 billion people connected globally, and the ever-increasing power of data centres collecting everything about us means that Internet of Things would actually become a reality. And by 2020 it's expected that there will be 50 billion connected devices in the world. And just this year, big companies are starting to get on board, so maybe the Internet of Things could be a not so distant future. And that's it, that's the end of the series. If there's anything you'd like me to cover, let me know and I'll see what I can do. I've been J-Nags and thank you for watching. Bye bye.